Rironi Mau Summit is a must-do now because the population moving in that corridor, that road from Rironi, which is a 3-lane corridor from Nairobi to Rironi. You know, we have 3 lanes on either side. It's a 6-lane road with 3 lanes on either side. And when you get to Rironi, you can overtake a lorry between Rironi all the way to Nakuru. And because of the traffic and the snarl of the population, all vehicles as far outstrips the capacity of the road. And therefore, because of the capacity of vehicles, there is appetite by private sector to build that road under PPP, and we are comfortable as government because we think the tariff will be fairly easy because of the population of vehicles. What have we done? We basically getting back the road from the initial concessionaire, Vinci and Meridian, the JV company which they had, and seeking to very quickly get any other concessionaire to be able to put their money as an investment on that road. As to whether we'll do what you call closed toll or open toll is one thing that we are going to decide very quickly, so that there will be opportunity for Kenyans who do not wish to pay to have a lane outside the tolled road, and therefore give option to Kenyans. But certainly you do know that sometimes, depending on how fast you can move, it can be cheaper to move quickly because you're not spending time on traffic, and you are going fast on a well-maintained road. So yes, we are very eager to start that road, and you'll probably see us in the next 2-3 months with a contractor breaking the ground on this road. So yes, we are cognizant of the need to complete this piece of infrastructure very quickly, because it gives Kenya opportunity to continue taking advantage of the northern corridor, which is basically leveraging or exploiting and employing more of Mombasa Port, which then gives us job opportunities, but more importantly, services the landlocked countries, Uganda, Rwanda, and DRC. We've been meeting as the Ministry of Roads and Transport, meeting with the Senate Committee on Road, Transport, and Housing to basically look at areas of collaboration and cooperation in a retreat that was set up a while ago, so that we could basically look at the various policies, look at the various legislative frameworks to support those policies, and what we need to do better to operationalize the programs, like the one you have asked, the SGR, to complete the 2B, 2C, which is basically Naivasha, Kisumu, Malaba. I think a lot of work has been done on the routing of this railway line. We've been updating and looking at the project affected persons in the corridor. We are looking at the financing agreements to more look at how we can build the railway as an investment as opposed to building it on government balance sheet. But that's not to say government will not participate in the structure of the funding, but to be able to support the fiscal headroom challenge, that should go more into the other social investments in education, in water, in health, and the more social investments. We should be able to get investors coming in and putting their money to be able to leverage on the opportunity. Public policy, we've just gone through public participation, and we are going through the due process to really, and in the tolling policy, we are identifying new roads that can be tolled. And of course, like I said, for a road to be tolled and for an investor to put in their money, they need to be able to get a return on investment, because they are not investing it on social. So they look at traffic volumes, then they price it. If the traffic is very low, the price becomes a bit expensive. That means that road may not qualify for tolling. Because if you build a road and there are only 2 vehicles per day, you will never repay get return on your money or repay the loan. So we'll be looking at roads which have been newly improved, and that basically means a newly improved is we possibly dual a road, and therefore if we toll that road, we can get revenues to maintain, but more importantly, revenues to invest elsewhere in Kenya so that we can develop the whole country equitably. When we say we're doing it out of government, it's not on government balance sheet. The cost is not on government. You build it and you earn your money through as an investment. But what we do on a PPP, and PPP is an open book asset development where you develop an asset that it will eventually be owned by the government. But more importantly, because there are no 2 opportunities to develop 2 roads, we make sure that the tariff you levy on Kenyans is to give you a reasonable return on your investment. So as to whether it costs so much billions, it is really not coming out of exchequer. It's not coming out of our taxes. You build and you charge what we allow you to charge to get a reasonable return on investment is something like 10% on your equity. And therefore, we make sure that the customers or the road users are not overcharged, because the government do control the tariffing to make sure that there is value for money, and the contractor or the concessionaire, the investor, is not getting more than he would get in an ordinary long-term investment. And therefore, anything between 10 to 12% is a reasonable return, just like the way you would put money in the bank and get returns of 10% or 11%. But this one you are assured because you are putting it for a long term. NTSA is really working on employing technology, of course through our ministry, to see how we can control the number of accidents in our roads. And you'll hear us talk about ITS, Integrated Traffic Management System and Junction Improvement Program, which is putting cameras on the roads, at the junctions, to ensure that people don't unnecessarily beat traffic or enter a junction without stopping. And therefore, when you know you are being watched, people tend to be more careful. So there are so many initiatives to really reduce accidents, employing technology, employing cameras on our roads to ensure that we manage speed, technologies to improve the roadworthiness of the vehicles through kind of inviting inspectors or licensing inspectors to look to be able to look at our roadworthiness. And once those kind of roadworthy license companies are licensed in various towns, inspection of lorries, inspection of matatus, inspection of our vehicles becomes easy, because if you can inspect your vehicle within the small town you come from, suddenly you're not on the road because brakes have not been checked, and you get a proper sticker that a road has been inspected, and you don't have to go to the government inspection centers, which could be so far from. People don't fail to inspect their vehicles because they don't want to. It's because sometimes we are asking them to go to Nairobi, we are asking them to go to Kisumu to inspect their vehicles, and yet we could franchise inspection, have regulations for licensing inspectors, or so that we don't have to travel far distances to be able to check our vehicles.